Touch. I often think of it in terms of skin. To touch is to put my skin in contact with a thing, a body, somebody else's skin. Skin is the largest organ of the body, about 20 square feet in total area. It interfaces with the environment, an epidermis, a surface, like a film, a screen. In mammals, the skin is an organ of the integumentary system, made up of multiple layers of ectodermal tissue. It's a covering. It guards us from external factors, protecting us from various kinds of damage, pathogens, excessive water loss, abrasions from outside. Other functions are insulation, temperature regulation, sensation, pressure, pricking, rubbing, pain, vibration, grafting, stretching, mimesis, manufacturing, commerce. The thickness of skin also varies from location to location on an organism. In humans, for example, the skin under the eyes and around the eyelids is the thinnest skin on the body, only about 0.5 millimeters thick, while being elastic and able to elongate and deform around the mouth. The skin that forms on the milk in your cup of tea, a congealed, peelable film the shape of the mouth of the mug that curls into a brown, webby string when you pull it off the surface. Mammalian skin is composed of two primary layers, the epidermis, which provides waterproofing and serves as a barrier to infection, and the dermis, which serves as a location for the appendages of skin. To touch is where body becomes skin. Skin becomes information. The skin that runs up the back of your neck, even though I am touching the hair on your arm. To tap into information is to tap into language, a skin that weeps and calls or stutters. A fingerprint, in its narrow sense, is an impression left by the friction ridges of a human finger, deposited on suitable surfaces by secretions of sweat from the eccrine glands that are present in epidermal ridges. These are sometimes referred to as chanced impressions. A very rare medical condition called Adermatoglyphia is characterized by the absence of fingerprints. Affected persons have completely smooth fingertips, palms, toes, and soles, but no other medical signs or symptoms. The condition has a nickname amongst researchers of immigration delay disease because the congenital lack of fingerprints causes delays at border control. Border spaces where my skin meets language, gathers in my mouth, over top of my larynx, forms around my throat, through my stomach, into my bowels and intestines. The three basic patterns of fingerprint ridges are the arch, the loop, and the whirl. The arch is where the ridges enter from one side of the finger, rise in the center, forming an arc, and then exit the other side of the finger. The loop is where the ridges enter from one side of a finger, form a curve, and then exit on that same side. The whirl is where ridges form circularly around a central point on the finger. Lines of data and disembodied facts, depicted, captured, traceable, and irremovable, logged and filed symbols, ingested into security databanks and bank databanks. Nerves and signals, my fingerprints grant access to content providers and capital flows. Gestures, without being authorable, without being ideable, are durational, temporal. They gather together and cut across hard facts, articulating the limits of the digital with unpredictable inflections, associations, expanded dimensions, and ungrammatical desires. Combining and recombining modes of speaking skin, modes and function of speaking, modes and function of skin. Skin as verb, action, state, or occurrence. Inflected to encode tense, aspect, linguistic modality, mood, and voice. To skin, to touch, to language. Translations onto the skin, touch as language, as gesture, as performance, and in these transitions, gesture is restless, shifting, an aggregation of texture and meaning channeled through skin. Hippotea Volumus asks, what is it to touch language and be touched by language? And says that writing on touch inevitably touches upon linguistic brushes, felt both cognitively as well as materially. One way to begin exploring these questions is to engage with the haptics of language, language as matter, as sonic, textural, and bodily performance. I trace on the palm of my hand the gesture for R-E:. Verbs vary by type, and each type is determined by the kinds of words that accompany it and the relationship those words have with the verb itself. And verbs have tenses: past to indicate that an action has been done, present to indicate that an action is being carried out, future to indicate that an action will be done. Skin is before, after, and during. Karen Barrett questions the belief that grammatical categories reflect the underlying structure of the world, and the representationalist belief in the power of words to mirror pre-existing phenomena. Instead, she posits that performative understanding of discursive practices challenge the belief in the power of words to represent pre-existing things. Performativity is not an invitation to turn everything, including material bodies, into words, but precisely a contestation of the excessive power granted to language to determine what is real. A shift from linguistic representations to discursive practices, rerouting the power granted of language, inserting gestures, touches, and subordinate terms, interpenetrating through a performative enactment of boundaries. Skin is before, after, and during, a turning inside out and outside in. Thank you.